first two lessons in this series, we've been mapping out some chord shapes that can be used to play through the diatonic series in different keys. Now we're going to focus in on playing arpeggios for each of these chords in a pattern that will prove particularly useful when it comes to actually using these as a basis for lead guitar improvisation. We're going to start by playing a 2-octave arpeggio for the first chord in the diatonic series, ascending, like this. And then move straight on to link that to a 2-octave arpeggio pattern for the second chord in the series, but played descending, like this. So together those two arpeggios will sound like this. So this exercise then moves on in a similar fashion through the whole of the diatonic series. I'll demonstrate the whole drill now in the key of C, rooted on the 5th string. So we're starting with the arpeggio for C major 7th. Down the D minor 7th, up the E minor 7th, down the F major 7th, up the G dominant 7th, down the A minor 7th, up the B minor 7 flat 5, and down the C major 7th. Then we continue back down the series the same way. So having come down the C major 7th, and then back up the B minor 7 flat 5 again, back down the A minor 7th, up the G 7th, down the F major 7th, up the E minor 7th, down the D minor 7th, and back to where we started with the C major 7th. So that's the end result we're aiming for. And after that demo, you may be forgiven for thinking that looks a bit complicated. But remember, there are only actually 4 different arpeggio patterns to learn. One for each of the 4 types of chords in the diatonic series. So now let's just focus in on the actual fingering patterns I use for these arpeggios. Now, these patterns are the ones that I find easiest. If you want to change the actual fingering to suit your own fingering habits, then that's absolutely fine. Here's the pattern for the major 7th chord type, demonstrated using C major 7th. So I start with my second finger on the key note, the C here at fret 3 on the 5th string. Go up to the 3rd note in the scale using my first finger, that 2nd fret on the D string. On up to the 5th note in the chord, using my pinky, fret 5 on the D string. And then it's across to the 7th note in the scale, and that's at fret 4 on the 3rd string, and I'm using my ring finger. And then we complete the first octave with the pinky at fret 5, so that first octave. And then I jump across to play the 3rd in the next octave with my pinky, fret 5 on the 2nd string. My first finger then catches the 5th on the top string at fret 3 with my first finger, so I can reach up and catch the next 7th note, fret 7 on the top string with my pinky, and then I slide to the top octave note. fingering coming down. So I slide the first one, jump down, first finger finding that G note there, third finger, 5th fret, jumping across. Then my little finger comes in there to grab that 5th fret note there on the D string, so I can easily reach this note down here, the E on the 2nd fret of the D string, back to our root note on the 2nd finger again. On to the minor 7th pattern, here demonstrated with the D minor 7th arpeggio. So now I'm starting with my first finger on the note D, 5th fret, 5th string. Going to the flat 3rd with my pinky, up to the 5th with my 3rd finger, and up to the flat 7 with my 1st finger, and completing the octave with my 3rd finger there on the D on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. So that first octave, and then moving up from there across to the minor 3rd with the 2nd finger, fret 6 on the 2nd string there, up to the 5th on the top string 5th fret with the 1st finger. The flat 7 can be reached with the pinky then, fret 8 on the top string, and we can slide that up to the top octave there at fret 10 on the top string, and then come back the same way, slide it down. To use the same pattern but ascending for E minor 7th. So now I'm starting at fret 7 on the 5th string, the E note with my 1st finger. So this is exactly the same pattern as we played on the D. But then we're going to come back down the major 7th pattern for F major 7th. Well, there's F. But we're going to come down it from the 7th note, so that's where our finger already is, our little finger. Same pattern as we used just now on C major 7th, but just the descending. And then we move up to G. And now we need a dominant 7th pattern for the G7th chord. So I've got my 2nd finger on the G note, fret 10 on the 5th string, straight up to the 3rd with the 1st finger, up to the 5th with the pinky. Then I advise bringing that 1st finger up a fret to grab the flat 7 note there, fret 10 on the 3rd string, and then we can go straight on across from the octave note there to the 3rd, 12th fret on the 2nd string, up to the 5th, using the 1st finger on the top string, fret 10, then the pinky on the flat 7, fret 13 on the top string. We can then slide up to the G note here, which is our flat 7th note in the A minor 7th arpeggio, so we can come back down that using exactly the same shape as we used for the D minor 7th and E minor 7th. The last pattern we need is the ascending minor 7 flat 5 pattern. So the minor 7 flat 5 pattern is a little more complicated. Let's take it one octave at a time. And let's start on our ring finger, that's my 3rd finger, fret 14 on the 5th string, the note B. Then to get our flat 3, I'm using my 1st finger on the D string, fret 12. My flat 5 then falls under my little finger at fret 15 on the D string. Then I move my second finger up a fret to fret 14 on the G string to grab the flat 7 note, and I can reach the octave note with my pinky there at fret 16 on the 3rd string. So that first octave again. I can then go on up to the minor 3rd in the next octave with my 3rd finger, on the next string 15th fret, and then on the top string at the 13th fret I've got my flat 5, and I can reach up to the 17th fret with my pinky for my flat 7, and then slide on up to the top of the chord there with my pinky at the 19th fret. From there I can then come down the C major 7th arpeggio, exactly as we've been using further down the fretboard. I'll post the tab for these patterns as a printout that members will be able to access from the link beneath the video screen. So work on that for a week, and then next week we'll look at how we can extend this to working in different keys. If you found this little video interesting, please click on the like button if there is one, or leave a comment, and do feel free to share the video with your friends. And if you'd like to gain access to all our guitar teaching materials, please visit the Secret Guitar Teacher site and take a free look round at what's available there. See you again soon.